in the Navy knew about a radio. So they put him on a ship and turned it over to him, the radio part of it. And he knew more than the people on the ship did about it.
Was this which war? World War One?
Yeah, it had to be. See, he was teaching school in the 20s. I went to high school from 22 to 26. Well, at junior high, I was there from 1920 to 26.
So he had already been in the
Yeah, it was in the First World War. And radio stuff was new. He made these little ones, little sets. He had holding class in there, his teacher, and he'd come in the class and lay out our work and go back in the other room and build radios.
His name was Ensor.
And the other ones were, hell, I ought to know that name. I heard it enough. I haven't heard it for years. But the ones that built the house owned over here 2 miles east and a mile north on the east side. They owned that farm too, the 160 acres over there. And his brother come and he bought this place and built his house.
Okay, let's backtrack. His brother, you mean Ensor's brother?
No.
The people from Nebraska's brother.
From Nebraska. This old veterinary, old Doc Smith, come up there at that town and he got them to come down here.
And they built the
Ensor House.
The Ensor House.
And then
but their name wasn't Ensor.
No.
Okay. And then their
Parks. Their name was Parks.
Parks. Okay. Ensor moved in later after the Parks
were gone.
And Parks' brother
bought this place. Built the house.
What happened to all the Parks? I mean,
I don't know.
Park family.
They wasn't here when I got around here.
Huh.
So I don't know where they went. Now, that was made, it had 9-inch clear maple, not maple, cedar, no knots in it, baseboard, 9 inches high, real good lumber. And the guy tore it down, he said he didn't want none of that. All he wanted was a dimension lumber, me to keep the rest or do what I wanted to with it. And I helped him tear it down. And the dining room and the kitchen was then refloored with pine flooring, 4-inch reflooring, repine.
Mm-hmm.
And it come up easy. I tore it up and piled it up out there, cleaned it up. Damn said woman didn't put it all on the wagon, take it home with her. Using my wagon, pulling it with a car. And they took that baseboard too. That's real good lumber.
It's good they got some use out of it.
But we give it to him and told him to have it all, he'd haul it away. And so couldn't complain about it.
There was another building right by the Clinkscale house.
Right behind it?
Well, it was, you had the house, and here's pointing
East.
No, here's the railroad.
Yeah.
Here's south.
Here's the railroad, and there's the house. It's right,
okay.
Right over
okay. Okay. Say, here's our house.
Yeah.
Here's the railroad.
Yeah.
This is south.
Yeah.
Okay, there was a outhouse right there, and then there's another building right there.
Smokehouse.
That was a smokehouse?
Had 3 rooms in it. The north room is for coal or fuel. And then the middle room, they probably stored their meat in there or something. We salted meat down.
Mm-hmm.
Poured it down in pure salt, a barrel of it. And then the south was their washroom. And they're stealing all the harness in the country, and we'd take the teams up there and unharness them and put the harness in that room there by the house. But
hold it, they were stealing what?
Harness. Horse harness. Horse harness. We used to own teams of horses.
Who was stealing them?
We didn't know. Somebody stole a lot of it all over the country, stealing harness. It's pretty good value. We used $60 a set. They made it for us up to deaf school.
And what does that have to do with the smokehouse?
We take the teams up there and unharness them and hang a harness in the smokehouse.
Oh, to keep them from stealing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Sam went down to he liked that old hip drop harness. Didn't have britching on it. You know what a britching is?
Mm-hmm.
Around the backside, and straps go up to the neck yoke so that they'd back it up or stop a wagon.
Oh, okay.
And instead of just stopping it with a neck collar. And so we bought 2 sets up there. I bought one, he bought one, and he went down to Kansas City and was going to buy him a set of hip drop harness. And he bought it from some guy down under the river bridge. I don't really had a shop or anything down there now, but that's where he said, bought it under the river bridge. He brought it home and it's stolen harness. The leather in it didn't match. He changed it all around.
Hmm.
And he'd use we had an old canvas collars. And it's open on the bottom. And you fastened the hames to them. The hames was fastened to the tugs and the rest of the harness. And made out of metal. And it's fastened to this collar, and the other collars, the leather collars, we put them on the horse, and then we threw the hames on there and buckled the hames. So he got these old open collars, and he didn't have to go to the trouble of buckling my hames. And I never could see it. There wasn't any problem. But he liked those old open collars. Well, it's hard on the horses. And I never would use them. But he didn't use his britching harness much. He used that old hip drop harness. It's lighter and easier to put on and all such. But he went on the threshing run, and that's the only one year that I ever knew of. He didn't like to go to neighbors for anything. He never went to help a neighbor. And we went on the threshing run that year, and I don't know why he did it unless I was there to go and help. And he wouldn't put his pole straps. Now that come from the britching. It's around behind the horse. 2 quarter straps come down here under their belly and hooked into a ring on a neck yoke strap, and they went between their front legs and hooked onto the neck yoke. So that let them hold the wagon with their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's just this neck yoke strap or this hame strap come off the collar, went down and hooked onto the front, this thing across the tongue, neck yoke, and so he wouldn't hook up his britching, so he wasn't using the britching, and he's hauling bundles, and he got in a ditch and upset and dumped his load of bundles, and team couldn't hold it back, a load couldn't hold it back, they didn't have the britching on. So he dumped that load, and I had to load it up again, and this pal kid over here, little old kid, wasn't big enough to be away from home. He's probably 14-year-old, and he's over there running the bundle wagon. And he had his neck yoke straps on, and he offered to loan them to Sam. Oh boy. That wasn't welcome at all. And then he got mad at me. I was running the bundle wagon and he was pitching. We kind of traded off, I guess. He was pitching, and you pitch a bundle sideways or with the heads towards the guy on the wagon, and that way he can pick it right up and put it where he wants it. It's easier to put the heads toward him and just stick his fork in it and put it anywhere without fooling.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he'd send them up to me butt first, right up against me. And they'd aim them at you, kind of, so that you could reach them. And I asked him to turn them around. It made him madder than hell. Anything he didn't like anybody tell him anything. And but he started turning them. Turn them halfway, that's good enough. I could get them sideways and flip them up and change them. But when laying to the butt against you, why, it just, the butt was big and the other end was small. It just effort to, get it and turn it. It was halfway turned. All you had to do is flip it a little. That's the way you wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
But with a butt towards you, it just was hard to turn them around so that you could load them. You couldn't load them with a butt towards you. You had to turn them. And we never went on another run.
Well, I guess I missed out on a lot, didn't I?
And then, a neighbor down there was sick, John Widener. He come in there and took care of that farm the year that Sam went on his trip. Him and the McCrackens was fussing over the old man. the dad, and they take him down there for McCracken to take care of him as his daughter, and they'd bring him back up and dump him out on the road with his suitcase and drive off and leave him. So he'd jump the house, and they'd have to keep him. And when he's younger, well, he had friends and talked like everything to everybody that said. And the time I knew him, he didn't talk. I'd go in there and try to talk to him. He wouldn't talk to me. And go and sit behind the stove of an evening and get up and go upstairs and go to bed. And as the size of his, go down to the store and sit on a bench down there during the day.
This was the McCrackens?
Yeah, McCracken, that's his daughter. And so Sam and his grandma and Goldie went on a trip. They went up around to Chicago. They had some relatives up there, and they went up there and visited. Come back here and took off again and went to Colorado. And they got John Widener to come and live there. He was working on a farm over here just as a hired hand. He got him to come and live there and do the farming the rest of the year. And then he rented it and stayed there another year. And we wound up in Wichita. They down in Oklahoma, down there at Chickasha, had him a little old apartment in a part of a house. And they were there when I started to California in the fall, working for the county, and they had us painting guardrail, I guess. We've been painting bridges all summer, and it's cold and nasty weather, and they sent us over there to work on guardrails. It's damp and cold and miserable, and so I went into town and quit. And I was just living in a bedroom up there. I ate in the restaurants. And so I fired up the next morning, I guess, and started to California. Goldie and her folks were down there at Chickasha, and I went through there and stopped. And I guess that was a mistake, I don't know. That's far as I got. But I talked to somebody, and they said you could get jobs in Wichita. So we turned around and headed for Wichita. And got up there and rented a little house down there on the south end, furnished house. And I lived down there with them. I had a room. And I went out to Raptor, didn't want to work. Well, Sam went up closer to town, and they were remodeling an old apartment house or an old house, making an apartment house out of it or something. So he goes and rents an apartment up on the second floor. So Sam and I slept together, and the women slept together. And old Huggins was down there, and he had a partner. He was speculating in the oil fields, just around the edges. They'd go up there at the hotel and listen to the oil people talk, and then go out and try to pick up some leases around where they was going to develop, around the edge of it. If they got oil, well, these pieces of ground are worth something. And you know, the management run them out. Oil people didn't like it. So he saw this house down the street 3 or 4 blocks. It's for sale, and old Huggins and the other guy pulled it off on him. They told him if he wasn't going to buy it, they was going to, so he goes and buys it. But he lost about $1,100 on it. And he slid there, well, till they come back up here. And Goldie and I got married, and we lived there, and we paid the payments on it till we come up here, and he just dropped it.
Where did you live when you were making payments?
In his house there in Wichita.
Oh, okay.
He come up here, and we just stayed there and made his payments on it. And I don't know if he was behind or not. Now we could have rented a little house, about a little 3-room house out east, $15 a month. So we stayed there and paid his payments, which was a lot bigger than that.
Mm-hmm.
And
what did he finally do with the house?
just walked off and left it, give it back to him. The furniture was all in it, and he got it with the house, But there's a guy here wanted to go to Wichita. He runs a stock truck, and he hauls for Sam.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he'd go down there for, I think $15 if Sam would furnish the gasoline. So they drove to Wichita and back. Went down there and loaded it and stayed overnight and come back.
Got all the furniture? Or
Yeah, hauled it all up here, and we sold the mess of it to this furniture dealer up north. He's up north of town now. He was up here on Santa Fe, or Kansas Avenue. He come down and he went through the basement and put a price on everything down there. And he said, any of it you want to sell, that's what I'll give you. Just give me a call if you want to get rid of any of it. So we called him, and he come down and took a pickup load up there and sold it.
Hmm.
He just paid us cash for it. And that grandfather chair, mother chair down there, the old rocker in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And then that one, your dad picked that platform rocker?
I did.
You did. That's worth something.
Mm-hmm.
And they were out there, and them, and all the beds and things, we kept them and used them.
Yeah, well, we may have taken some of your beds, too.
But, Wichita was a pretty good town. I don't know if they made a mistake coming back up here or not. I guess not. We've done all right.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't know it was going to turn out this way. Times was hard down there, and it's hard up here. Old clothes, work clothes wore out, so it wasn't fit to wear. Let's see, I stayed here a year and farmed with him. I didn't come up here in the spring. I couldn't rent a farm. And he spoiled some of them for me. He'd tell the proprietors, the owners, that he'd help me. Well, then they wouldn't rent it to me because I was going to depend on his help. And one or two of them turned me down on account of if I hadn't had him along with me, I'd have got them rented. But it's running down the road here, this side of Spring Hill, a good farm, had good buildings, had a big old house, but he had an 80 across the road north. He lived up at Lawrence at Topeka or somewhere, and we went up there to talk to him, and he wanted me to take that pasture, not take the farmland on the 80. He wanted me to take the pasture. Well, I didn't need it, didn't end up turn on the pasture. There's a pasture where I was going to live. And we didn't get along about that, and I didn't rent it. He went and rented it to a guy over here that didn't have nothing. He went and bought an old thistle old horse, and then he bought another one to go with it. I don't know how he farmed. He didn't have nothing. Didn't have no tools. He stayed there about 3 years, and I doubt if he paid that guy a dime. But then there's one down here that on the jog in the streets, you go into Spring Hill on the east side, right south of the glass factory. He had 160 acres in there, laid right in Gardner. And he wanted me to furnish, he'd own half the cows and half the hogs. But I was furnish all the machinery and all the work stock, and he would get half of the profit. Well, that wasn't the way it done. He furnished half the machinery and half the work stock, or paid for them, made allowance for them, and he got half the income. But he wanted me to furnish the work stock and the machinery, and he'd own half the hogs and half the cattle. So I didn't take him up, and old Emmett Cantrell moved in there, and he got in so deep that old man he couldn't leave. Stayed there several years trying to get money enough to catch up on his payment, rent. I don't know how they did the pay. Well, you wouldn't have to pay for a pasture. Anyway, he's in debt to the old guy. He finally got to where he could get out of there, and he moved down there for child, joined us on the back side.
Mm-hmm.
He had 6 kids. One of them was retarded, 100%. They finally put her in a home somewhere. I don't know whatever happened to her. But he had these 5 girls. It's all girls, 6 girls. And these girls went to school with your dad. And he's up here one time, they're having a get-together down here at Spring Hill. I don't know if it's that family or not. Might have been. Anyway, we went down there. He knew every girl's name. Just knew that, and you're this, and that, you're that, and right down the line, he knew them all. He was, well, 7. Yeah, you're getting up, he's in 7th or 8th grade, I guess. Come up here and he only went down to Fayetteville for 4 years more before we come back up here in his last year of grade school. He went half a year out to schoolhouse up there north, I think, and went to high school. But there's a girl from the hills lived on down there in town, child, and her and 2 boys that lived east of the school over there a mile and a half. See, she lived, well, she went to the main road, she'd go half a mile east and then a mile south into Childs. But there's a road at the schoolhouse, there's an old backcountry road, and there wasn't any other kids on it, so she went to these kids, and Dan was with them.
Mm-hmm.
They go over there to Bucyrus Road, and then these 2 boys go on a mile east, and the girl that goes south into Childs. And they go along that road and see who could piss the farthest. Dan come home and tell us about it. Shook up Mama a little. The little girl. Wasn't any of them very well. As old as still in grade school, you know.
Oh boy. Yeah, I think you had to sit down and explain a few things to him at that point, didn't you?
Over at Bucyrus, they got the little kids for hiding out in the horse barn. It wasn't the older kids, it was the little ones, girls and all, go down there. That shook things up a little too. Bucyrus School right there in the edge of town, but I don't think they had a very big enrollment, just kind of like a country school. Well, they had a horse stable anyway.
Well,
The little kids was shacking up down there in the horse farm. But
so, I wanted to ask something about...
I think this girl was adopted. I knew her dad.
I wanted to ask about Ursula. I call her Ursula, but...
This one I played cards with, they call her Ursula. And I told her, no, Ursula, and I said, no, sis. Well, my sister, I said, we called her Ursula. I know we called her sis, whether she liked it or not.
How much older was she than you?
She born 1900 and I was born 1960. I think she named me, but she's only 6 years old. I still think she did, because I can't come up with anybody else that would have named me. Wasn't anybody around to name me. And of course, I don't know who was around when I was born.
Nobody's got to admit to it.
I just can't see anybody naming a boy that. Oh, there's a Morris or 2 out at Gardner. One of them's old as Sam, I guess. But his name didn't kill him. There's several Morrises around.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them spelled it M-O-R-R-I-S. And a lot of people write my name down. That's the way they spell it. And I don't know where that name comes from.
Morris is okay. It beats the heck out of Francis.
That Francis. Well, there's a few Francis around. This Morrison boy over here, he's Francis. And that's what his name's in the paper and everything. Francis. Morrison, but where I have to spell mine out, even at the bank, where I have to put my first name on it, some stuff. Why, when I get the mail, it's spelled with an E. And I've gotten all over the phone and stuff a time or two. Somebody thought they were going to talk to a girl. Oh, we get calls, people we never heard of. Some of them want to know Well, first they wanted to talk to Francis Henley. I know, well, you got him. What? But I got it. I guess I'll keep it. Oh, I went by the names quite a bit. Wichita, they call me Jack.
Why that?
And
Why do they call you Jack?
out here, Gardner guy called me Frank for years.
Why'd they call you Jack?
Oh, I went to work up at the company, said, you want to know what my name was, and I told him Morris. He said, okay, Jack. So they just called me Jack, the foreman out there. And I like Jack better than I did Morris. I got my paycheck Jack on it. So everybody in Wichita, that's who it was outside of the family. And the guy, the preacher that married us, real nice. We liked him. Didn't know him much, but liked him. And we went down there and was married the first day of March. Was having a sleet storm.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple down there went with us and Goldie's folks. And his wife was very emotional. She cried when he was getting married, the preacher's wife. And the other was this gal that was our bridesmaid that you met her up here at the reunion. Well, she was going to the guy down there in Wichita, and he went out in the country. They lived out the edge of town, had a little acreage. Him and his mother lived out there, and he went out in the country to stealing fence posts, and the guy shot him, put his eye out. And,
Stealing fence posts?
And they split up.
There's a new occupation.
I don't know whether she...
Just put his eye out, the shotgun?
I suppose shotgun. I don't know. We moved up here, and I don't know when they broke up. But her
Did the preacher
brother and sister married brother and sister, and the brother and sister lived up here at the mission. And we used to go up there quite a bit and see them.
Back to the preacher, did he get your name right during the ceremony?
I don't know how he did. I had the marriage license with my name on it.
He didn't say, do you, Jack, take this?
No, he didn't know me as Jack. I wasn't Jack yet. I hadn't worked at that place.
Oh, okay.
And so we went back over to the house and had a dinner and got married this afternoon. The guy preached till noon. Had us come just after lunch. So went back over there and had a dinner, and a couple stayed with us. So we got in the car and went up and went to a picture show that afternoon. The four of us. There was four couples there got together and played cards and such. This one gal got a good one about her. And she went with a guy that had a choir that traveled, church choir, traveled all over the United States. And she wasn't timid about anything either. And this girl and her boyfriend, and then the other one's come from over here in Missouri. His dad run a lumberyard over there. And that made the four couples. And well, I'm getting this a little wrong. It wasn't his. The gal he married is another gal worked up there where Goldie worked. And he's going to this guy that had the choir. And they're going to get married, and she had a little something wrong with her privates that was bothering her. So she went to the doctor, and well, he said, I'll tell you, if that was on your hand, we'd call it a callus. She told that up there at the store where Goldie worked. And we knew her. We'd run into them here and there all the time. If it was on your hand, it'd be a callus.
Okay.
The more you think about that, the better it gets.
Well, I would assume that that was she and the guy she was about to marry had been practicing some.
Well, she might have had a lot of partners, I don't know. They didn't know that much about her. She was kind of noisy and good-looking gal. She's a little bit big. But she, I don't know. We saw her around. Seemed like some. But I've done a lot of laughing about that over 60 years. I never did tell many about it.
Well,
But just think about that. The doctor said, well, as on your hand, it'd be a callus, and that's all they told her.
oh boy. Let's see. So, you know why Aunt Ursula, why Sis, whatever you call her, why'd she decide to become a teacher?
Oh, she read everything, and she went, took care of the library of an evening. I had to go up there at 9 o'clock and walk home with her every night of the winter. And she could read fast. And she just took to that kind of stuff. I don't know if she went to Emporia a little while or not. She went to KU a lot. She went to teaching out north of town. Got $63 a month. There's a neighbor out there. Oh, she stayed with some people out there if it was stormy or anything. Beckett's was their name. Kind of an older couple. But some of the neighbors there had 2 saddle horses. One was a stud horse. Ursula rode